Hey everyone! Well, we're here. We're back, and today we're doing another anti-MLM video, and for this video we are going to be talking about Beachbody. Today we just have a good old-fashioned team call video. I feel like it has been quite a while since I have done one of these on the channel. I don't necessarily know why, it just has, I guess, worked out that way. I know how much you guys really enjoy team call videos. I really enjoy team call videos, so I am very excited for today's video. What I like about team calls is I feel like we get to see more of a realistic take on what actually goes on in these MLMs versus the picture-perfect lifestyle that they like to portray it is in opportunity calls, and how it's so easy and all you do is post on social media and wow, you're all of a sudden a millionaire. Isn't that great? In team calls, we get to see a different side, a more realistic side of what goes on in the MLM, what is a regular day-to-day look, or I guess call-to-call look in each MLM. So if you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you really like it, please subscribe. Make sure to check out my description below for all my fun links to my Poshmark, my Patreon, my social medias, and my anti-MLM playlist is always linked below. I also have a join button below if you're interested in becoming a channel member. And with all of that said, let's get started.
So welcome to the team call. If you are not on with us live, you missed a very interesting conversation about bikes and our husbands. Little bit TMI, but it was fun. This is why you jump on the team calls. This is like team bonding right here. But we are not talking about any of that stuff in this call. We are going to keep this short and sweet. And as God is my witness, I know I say that all the time, Angie's going to hold me accountable to it. All the girls on here, y'all are going to hold me to it because this is going to be short and sweet. Number one, because we all have things to do and I want to honor your time. Secondly, I don't want us to keep overcomplicating this when we talk about the importance of building our team. This is me. Oftentimes we teach what is that we need to learn and improve upon ourselves. So this is me teaching you things that I need the reminder of just as much as you do. Because if I can be brutally honest, this is an area of my business that I have not been stewarding well. I have not been giving it the attention that it needs. And I've honestly been brushing it off to the side because of all the things. So a couple of things that we're going to go through. Number one, we're going to talk about how to build a team. We're going to talk about why it's important. And most importantly, we're also going to talk about how you can duplicate this process with your teams without feeling like you have to become some mega massive recruiter. So what I want to give you permission to do in the start of all of this, and actually I have a graphic and a worksheet that I'm going to share with all the leaders. We can drop this if this is a helpful resource for you. But this is really just to emphasize how simple this is. So first, let's talk about why it's important to build your team.
Because you need a team in order to make any sort of livable income, in order to actually rank up in Beachbody. That is, if those two things are not in her why it's important to build a team, then she's lying to herself and to her team.
Regardless of the type of coach that you are, understand that just like in any other job, any other career, any other aspect of life, cleaning your house, right? Alone, we can only do so much. But when you have other people who are leaning in and who are building this with you, it takes the pressure off of your shoulders from feeling like you are doing this by yourself. You are running this by yourself. So let's give an example of our families, right? Even if you do not have, if you're not married, if you don't have children, maybe that's something you want to work towards one day, but we can all remember that time where we were part of some sort of team, even a sports team, right? Even in our home, if managing the household, doing all the chores, and making sure stuff gets done and accomplished was resting solely on my shoulders, there would never be enough hours in the day. And eventually I would get burned out and I would be tired, right? So I need to learn to delegate. I need to get my kids to help doing little things. I need to encourage my husband to help me out. Teamwork, right?
Right, but you don't make money off of asking your family to help you clean the house. By asking other people to do this business, to join in, to be an entrepreneur, a business owner. You are asking them to spend money and then to keep spending money in the business because that helps you make money. There's a difference between asking your family to help you clean because you need help and because the house needs to be cleaned. You're not making money off of them from asking them to help you clean. And they're not losing money from doing that. But in an MLM, when you ask somebody to join your team, you're asking them to spend money and keep spending money and lose money. So there's definitely a lose-lose situation over here. And yeah, cleaning the house sucks and whatnot, but you're not losing money when you do that.
It takes a team. If you've ever been an athlete on a sports team, right? You all have different talents. You have different skill sets and abilities that you are bringing to the table.
Again, that's totally different. When you're on a sports team, you're doing it for the love of the sport, to be active, for the community of being in a sports team. You know, you guys are like a little family when you're on a sports team. In an MLM, you're profiting off of that little family. So there's always profit going on. You can make it seem like it's like so nice, like a family or like a team in that aspect, but it's so different. And you need people to be underneath you in order for you to make money. It's not just like, I want to do this for the team aspect because I want to, put some burden off on me. It doesn't matter. You can literally do the same thing all day long, no matter how many people you have underneath you. It's not going to lessen a burden. I guess a financial burden, it definitely will. But you could literally do the same thing every single day, no matter how many people you have underneath you. The only burden that they truly are burdening off you is the financial burden, because when they have a bunch of people underneath them and then those people have a bunch of people underneath them, you are benefiting from that.
Mission is still the same. You're still working towards a common goal together, right? So my daughter is playing softball this year. She is an amazing infielder. She's got a really strong arm. That girl, don't ask her to pitch. That's not her role. But the pitcher needs her to field the ball, because once she releases it, she can only do so much. She needs other players to play the field, right? So this is exactly how I want you to think about the aspect of you building your team. If you are trying to do this by yourself, number one, it's not fun. But number two, it's going to feel really,
I was going to say, number one, it's not possible, which is true.
Heavy, and it's going to feel like a burden. And that's where having teammates where, again, you're not responsible for building their teams, but when you get people who are willing to walk or run with you, it makes the journey even more enjoyable. All right, so that's why we build.
Yeah, because you get a financial incentive when they also start building their teams, when they start building downlines. When your downlines start building downlines, that financially benefits you. So that's why it's a good thing.
The team is because we are on mission together.
It's not that by them doing that, you're like, oh my God, I'm such a great leader. My team just wants to do this because they're truly inspired to help people. No, it's all for financial reasons. That's exactly why they're doing it.
Right? From a biblical standpoint, let's root everything down to the word, the one thing that's not shakable. Jesus very easily could have done everything on his own, but what did he do? He had his 12 people. He equipped them, he empowered them, and then he gave them the mission to go, right? So when we talk about building a team, we've always said, myself, Kelly, Jessica, Angie, Kimberly, all of you on here, we've said we want to build this differently. Now listen, there's a million other trainings that you can listen from corporate on how to technically build your business, how to follow the ranks and all the things. I want us to do this differently. I want us to give ourselves permission to do this differently. So what if instead of us focusing on being these mega recruiters, recruiting 500 people to join our team, having these mega downlines, what if we just focused on a few and get those few to multiply the same little, right? because
that's the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're focused on recruiting 500 people or if you're focused on recruiting a few who then recruit a few, who then recruit a few, who then recruit a few, and so on and so forth. And when you word it, honestly, it almost sounds better when you say, I want to recruit 500 people than saying, I want to recruit a few who then can just recruit a few and so on and so forth, because then what exactly does that sound like? So yeah, it sounds a lot simpler and a lot more tangible to just focus on a few, but that also puts a lot of pressure on those few. And that's when you see, or that's when you hear stories of people saying like, my upline was so intense with me and they would like nag at me and they would get on me about recruiting and keeping people, and that if I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, it was my fault and I'm a loser and I suck at this and I just want to fail and I want the team to fail. So it puts a lot of pressure on those few downlines to also, copy and paste and do the same thing that the upline was doing. So no matter what, it's a bad thing to just only need to focus on recruitment, but that's all they can do. It is focusing on recruitment, whether it's you personally recruiting 500, 1,000 people, or focused on 10 people that you've recruited to also get 10, and so on and so forth. It's the same no matter how you look at it. Of course, the way that she makes it seem is that it's nice, it's pretty when you just can focus on a few, but it doesn't matter, because if 3 of those people leave, then you have to recruit 3 more people to keep that small number. It all is about getting people and having them stay. And having them stay is the really difficult part.
Again, go back to scriptures. The 5 loaves and 2 fish didn't seem like a lot. But what did Jesus do? He did the miracle, and then he told his disciples, you go and give it. All right, so I'm going to share my screen, and I want to share with you a resource that I'm going to share with all the leaders. I have already been using this with some of my team builders who said, I want to run with you. I want to build this thing. For those who have been using this template, it's been helpful, and it's taken a lot of pressure off of them. So I've tested it with them. It seems to be working so far a little bit. We're going to take a little bit, and I'm going to equip you with that too. So let me share my screen here so y'all can see what I'm looking at. Okay. Can you guys see this?
Yep, I can see this. We have you and your 8 coaches. Wow, you want 8 coaches. And then let me guess, this 3 means that each of them have 3 people. And then, or they find 8 coaches. What is the 3? Oh, right, they need 3 customers. Oh, that's right. Okay. I mean, it looks like, a certain shape. But of course, anything can look like that shape. It isn't about the shape. But when you need to find 8 people who, you need them to find 8 people, and then those 8 people find 8 people, you don't hear that when it comes to regular businesses. They're not like, okay, we need 3 managers who each find 5 employees, and then those 5 employees need to also find 5 employees, and so on and so forth. You don't hear that.
See if I can make this a little bit bigger. Oh, is that way too big? Too much, too much? Okay. So I'm going to walk you through this. Okay, but this is the mindset that I want us to think. So first of all, as you can see, we've got us at the very top, you at the very top. Now, this career path, the reason why I call this a career path instead of building your team is because I think some of us, even if you are just a hobby coach or a discount coach, I think we back ourselves into a corner and we limit our thinking. So we put ourselves in our box of, well, this is all I'm ever going to be. So let me just tell you, you may only want to do this for the discount, but don't you dare hold someone else's future captive in your mouth. Someone that you know may need this to fill an income void,
No, absolutely not. That is so manipulative. If somebody wants to just do it for a discount, they don't have to tell other people about it. They don't have to tell other people that this is a financial wonder. They don't have to do that. It is not them holding somebody else's future captive, because I guarantee somebody, somewhere, somehow will find them. If that person wants to do it, an MLM will find them, unfortunately. But hopefully they don't, and they don't ever come across this. But to say that you're holding somebody's financial future captive, no, that is so wrong.
A passion void in their own career, why not give them the opportunity to determine that for themselves? You are the vessel, right? So this is a really simple 3-step.
Like, that's so ridiculous. Like, if I were to buy a product and I were to be getting a discount on it, and then for them to be like, well, you have to tell your friends about this discount because maybe they want to make money with it, I'd be like, A, don't have friends, but B, don't tell me what I should and shouldn't do. If I just want a discount on this product, that should be as far as it is. I shouldn't, why would you, of course I know why they're doing it, because the more people they have underneath them, the more financially, rewarding it is for them to have a team underneath them. It just doesn't make sense. If somebody doesn't want to create a team or even sell the products, why would they create a team still? Why would they ask their friends and family to join underneath them? In a realistic standard, that makes absolutely no sense. But in an MLM world, I guess it makes perfect sense to them.
Process. How do you build your team, and how do you build one that is deep and one that is going to last? This is how you do it. Number 1, you enroll 3 or more, but we're gonna say 3 customers every month. Now, why is this important? Because we have to be helping people on their journey first and foremost. But the other reason is that this is going to help make sure that your Shakeology, for an example, every month, that you are getting that paid for. So for all of the coaches that are on here and you're struggling just to cover the cost of your own product, before you can even consider building your team, get your own expenses covered for, right? So you get 3 or more customers every month. That's going to massively help for you to do that. And for those of you who are on this call who are struggling with getting your spouse or your partner on board with what you're doing, show them the money. If you are spending all this time on this, get a return on your investment. So
you don't think that they're not trying to do that? If they want to make this the job that they believe it to be, like that it's their own business and they're just selling product and, look at my transformation, I love this product, you should buy it too. You don't think that they're trying to make money in the process? Of course they're trying to do that.
3 or more customers every month, get them started with a challenge or completion pack that's going to help push you towards Success Club. But it can be any home direct order. It can be a bod subscription. But make it a point to help 3 new customers every month. This is filling your funnel so you can start seeing that income, getting your products paid for. But it's 3 or more customers monthly. That's step 1.
That's also, I think, how you hit Success Club every single month. And as we know, Success Club is like the thing that they aim for every single month. It's like you have to help, or you have to sell like 3 challenge packs a month. So that's why Beachbody is like so intense with like their like power hours, because they need to get those customers in order to achieve Success Club. And then hopefully they're hoping that those customers turn into downlines. That's really what they're hoping for. But again, I believe Shakeology pack, or is it a Shakeology pack? Challenge pack. I think that's what it's called. It's like $165, which comes with 30 days of Shakeology and like the Beachbody on demand, which I have said this so many times, you don't need to pay for that because there are free YouTube videos that do the exact same thing. Free. You don't need that. And Shakeology is just a meal replacement shake. There are plenty of those on the market also. If that's something that you're interested in, you can find that for a lot cheaper at a lot of other places like grocery stores and wellness stores, things like that, that are a lot better than Shakeology, and you don't have people harping on you that don't you want to do what I do? That definitely sounds free and cheaper. Those words are always better in my book.
Number 2 is we're saying enroll 8 coaches. Why 8 coaches? 4 on your left, 4 on your right. The reason why is because as you're looking to build towards diamond and above, this is really what you need. Right? Now,
That's a lot. Like, that is a lot of people. I mean, I always say, like, just even having, like, 2 people is a lot. But, I mean, some MLMs, it's definitely more. But just finding 8 people that want to also do this and to get them to stay, that is the challenge that so many of them have. Is maybe they're able to get someone for like a month or two, and then a lot of people are like, I'm not making money with this, I don't want to do this, I'm gonna go. So to get those 8 people to stay, and then to get those 8 people to find 8 people, when you lay it out in a graphic or when you just say it with words, it always sounds a lot easier than the actual application. So when these people who join Beachbody go out there and they're trying to recruit people, they're seeing how difficult it is to even get people to respond back to them, to say yes. It's like this long process of trying to find 8 people, and then let's say you finally do, you need to convince those 8 people to find 8 people, and you know how long it took you to find 8 people. And then, not only that, all of those 8 people have to stay. And that is the difficult part. And people leave, people come and go all the time. But to blame the downline who is having people rotate all the time is ridiculous, because that's just obviously what's going to happen. This person could be working so hard to find 8 people and they're having a hard time, but uplines always blame downlines and say, it's easy, I don't understand why you're having such a hard time with this, because it's very difficult. It's very difficult. You're asking people to spend money, you're asking people to keep spending money, and you're trying to convince not only yourself half the time, but people below you that this works, I promise this works, even though you see no return on your investment. There's no money being made. And even if there is, it's a little bit of money. It is nothing to live off of. So you're just trying to convince yourself that this is going to work while convincing others that this is going to work. But in the end, it doesn't work.
And if you're like, I want to make sure just in case someone doesn't go inactive, obviously add more, but this is the goal. This is the goal. And remember, these are active coaches. It doesn't matter how many people you sign up and enroll underneath of you if they are inactive, if they're not doing anything with the business. Because
exactly. So you could sign up 8 people and only one of them want to do it. Well, then now you got to sign up 7 more, maybe 10 more, because she said you got to have a cushion. A couple cushion people. That's just all they are. They're just a cushion. They're not real life humans who you are changing their lives, supposedly. They're just a cushion for your little downline, for your money. That's what they are.
Then we're not doing our job. We're just signing people up to sign them up, and that's not what we want to do. So you enroll 8 coaches. This is where I want to encourage us to be different and take a different approach on this. Because I think oftentimes where we have learned, where I can say I've learned from corporate in the past, is help your 3 people, start building your downline, and then it stops. And many of us struggle with, how do we mentor and multiply within our coaches? How do we get them to do what we did, right? This is exactly where we need to focus on this, and that is step number 3. Step number 3 is helping our 8 coaches not only help 3 new customers a month, but encouraging them from the very beginning, helping them to enroll 8 coaches.
Can I just ask how that's different than what she just said? No matter what, it's helping people also find people, also create downlines. That's all that it is. And she's acting like this right here is different than what corporate tells them to do, what her upline has probably told her to do, what any other MLM out there has said. This is exactly what they all do. Exactly. Finding customers. Well, I guess Beachbody's a little bit different because you do need to find 3 people who want to buy the challenge pack, but usually those people, you try and convince them to join your downline anyway, so it's kind of like a 2-for-1. And that is different in the way of like other MLMs. You don't necessarily have to do that, but it doesn't matter. The whole point of every single MLM is finding people underneath you and getting those people to find people underneath them. This is not different than anything anybody has ever come up with.
Here's why that's important. I know I can look back over the past 7 years that I've been building my business and building my team, there was a point where I waited for me to either get to a certain point, and it mostly came down to confidence, where I didn't feel like I was ready to start building a team because I needed to focus on me first. I needed to focus on my journey first.
That makes so much sense. I think that is a great way to look at it, because in so many other businesses, like if you're really starting your own business, you want to prove that the product works. And even if not, then like, let's say you want to start like, you want to be an influencer, like a weight loss influencer or something, or do something on YouTube. You have to prove that you know what you're talking about. You want to be an expert in the field that you're going into. But in an MLM, they don't care. It is go from the start. It is, you haven't even tried the product, that's fine. Tell people what a great product it is and that this opportunity has changed your life, even though it hasn't and you haven't even tried the product. In no other job do they recommend you have no idea what the heck you're doing before you start training people. But in MLMs, it's, like I said, just go from the start. Just start talking about it before you've even tried anything. And that's normal for them.
Right? In hindsight, I wish that I had even 3 personally sponsored coaches who were willing to learn and figure it out with me. Instead of me.
That just doesn't make any sense. I couldn't imagine going to a job and being trained by a manager, a supervisor, and them saying, oh, I don't know it either, but we're going to learn it together. And I would be like, but don't I need to go to you for advice and we're at the same level? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. You would want to be an expert in the thing that you are selling, the thing that you are telling people to spend money on. There's nothing wrong with wanting to know the A through Z of what you're selling, what you're talking about. It is okay to be an expert in that field. But I think the issue is that the more that you become an expert in an MLM, the more you see through the cracks and the more you don't fall for the scheme.
Feeling like I am running, building by myself, and I've got no one to link arms with me, right? Now, the beauty of that is that, we can lean in, me, Kelly, Jessica, Kimberly, Angie, like we can lean in as leaders, but y'all, like, I think the leaders here will agree when I say it's way more fun when we have our team rising up with us.
How much fun is it?
Because then we can all be surrounded together. So here's the deal. Even if you're like, all right, well, I only have 2 people that want to run with me. Start with those 2 and go to those 2 and say, okay, here's your career path. You help your 3 new customers this month, but you make it your goal to work and find your 8. All right? And I think we have to stop being afraid of telling our coaches that out of fear of, well, yeah, but if I tell them to build, then they're going to look and say, oh, well, how is this going to benefit you? No, it benefits them too. Right? You guys, this business is really, really simple. But the only reason it doesn't work is because we're not even making an attempt to build it. And I'm going to share with you something.
Says who? Says you? You don't know what other people are doing. And they always say it's so simple. Like I said, at the core of just saying it and writing it down, it is simple. But it is the application and getting people to also say yes and to stay. That is the hard thing. I would love to see a coach or somebody in some MLM literally screen record and just show how easy it is to find people and get those people to say yes. We haven't seen that because we know that it's not true. We know that it's not possible for them to be like, oh yeah, it's so easy to find people. It's just so simple. You just do this. Because if it was that simple and you just did that, then I think a lot more people would be a lot more successful, and that's just not the truth.
I remember Christine Dwyer said, I remember her saying this my very first summit that I went to. And if you do not know who Christina Dwyer is, it's okay. I didn't know who she was either. She is one of the, I think, founding coaches in Team Beachbody. She is I think she's part of all of our like upline maybe. But she is a massive organization. And I remember her saying, if your only source of income from this business comes from selling retail, challenge packs, programs, products, and it's not coming from developing and mentoring leaders within your team and your organization, not building your downline, then literally all that you are is a salesperson. And I want you to think about that.
So why am I not surprised that they would make it a bad thing to just sell the product? If you're not focused on creating downlines and focusing on building a team, then you're just a salesperson. How do you feel about that? And it's like, isn't that what this job is? Isn't it on a non-pyramid scheme sounding job, a sales job that you can do from home? Isn't that what it's supposed to be? But no, somebody who is in the top is making that the gross thing. Like, you just want to sell product and you just want to get your money through retail sales. Ew. You should be creating a team. I mean, I'm not surprised to hear it. I say this a lot, is these things that these people say. And they say it and they're excited about it. Like, you can tell she's excited about hearing that. Otherwise, she wouldn't be repeating that to her own team. But us on the outside, we view that as, that's a red flag. That's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. That should mean you don't want to be a part of this, because they just want you to focus on getting more and more people underneath you, not about selling the product. The product is a part of it because you need a physical object in order to not be classified as a scam, even though it is. But if they truly just stopped and listened to what they themselves are saying, I think they would start to open their eyes a little bit.
You guys, how many of us here came into this saying, I don't want to be a sleazy salesperson? Like that was me. So this is why it's important for all of us to build our teams, not just because there's power in numbers, not just because this is part of discipleship, this is part of that growth and making that ripple effect, but it's because every single one of us literally came into this saying we don't want to be salespeople. And so if every week, tomorrow when we get our paychecks, if you're not seeing any return from team cycle bonus or your matching bonus, and your only source of income is coming from that 25% in retail sales, guess what, boo-boo? All you are is a salesperson. So start building your team. And this here for anyone who is like a pen and paper visual person, this is just a really good way to like write the names down. So I have this inside of a, what is it, like a sleeve where I can use like a dry erase marker. So if someone falls off, if someone has a change of heart, I can update it. But this is a way for me to see, okay, which one of my coaches are serious about building their business because they're going to get more of my time, right? And who maybe needs a little bit more help, and where is my business, right? Do not get so busy trying to chase your coaches down, making sure that they are building, and then your business falls by the wayside. You have to have a healthy balance of both. Okay? I'm going to stop sharing here real quick so we can just talk about this. Ladies, hear me. And I'm telling you this genuinely because I know this for a fact. This is something every single one of us struggles with. The greatest reasons why we do not build a team has nothing to do with your inability to lead. It has nothing to do with whether or not you know enough about this business. It's 100% rooted. You ready for this? Because this is going to hurt. but I love you too much to not be honest with you. It's ego. It's 100% ego. And it's pride.
That is absolutely not true. Super manipulative. Absolutely not. The reason why people can't build teams is because so many people all day long are telling them no. It has nothing to do with their ego. Again, making it the coach's fault. Making it the downline's fault. I hate calling them coaches, but it's like that word will like get stuck in my head as I watch these videos because they're not coaches. They just paid into Beachbody and then got that title, which is ridiculous. But you are putting the blame of why they are not achieving downlines on them. Oh, well, your ego is just in the way. How about they just keep hearing no? How about people don't want to join pyramid schemes? How about people don't want to spend money every single month and lose it? That's why people aren't joining underneath them. It's not their fault.
And we know that there's no fruit in either of those. Why is it ego? Because if we are so worried and consumed about, I don't know enough in this business, who am I going to lead? You're making it all about you. And you're forgetting the fact that even if you just signed up yesterday, that new coach that prayed this morning for another part-time income to come into their family, for something to give them like they literally got on their knees and they prayed for this opportunity that you haven't given them because they don't even know about it. You've still been in this a little bit longer than them. You know more than them. There's something that you know that you can help them with. And if not, that's what Google's for.
Normally, these Huns don't get to me this bad. Like, certain ones, like, will bother me, will say the right thing that is, like, just so absolutely shocking. She is one of those people. She is one of those people that it's like, you just signed up yesterday, so you clearly know more than the person that you're going to sign up tomorrow. There is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to know at least a little bit about the business that is, quote unquote, yours. There's nothing wrong with that, but she's making it out to be that that's just your ego that's getting in the way. Wow, they normally don't get to me like this. We're getting sassy Jessica a little bit. I love when you guys are like, oop, Jessica's sassy in this one. Yeah, she's bringing out the sass a little bit.
What this is for. So to feel like I don't know enough, I'm not ready to lead a team is so incredibly self-centered because none of us know it all. We're always learning and figuring it out. All right? But the other piece of that.
Yes. You can learn along the way certain things, but there's a reason why when you start a new job that they give you training before you even get on the floor, before you are left alone to do things by yourself, because you need to have a basic understanding of what the job entails. But to say that you want to have a basic understanding of what it is you exactly do in the MLM that you joined, in the business that is yours, and you want to know the ins and outs because it's what you want to do. You want to have a good idea of what products you have, what the ingredients are, what sort of products would be good for certain people. Not that any of that is true when it comes to Beachbody, but maybe somebody would like to know that because it is their business. They're allowed to know what they sell, know what is good, teach themselves a little bit instead of saying, well, you're being selfish for wanting to know those things. Just get out there and start growing a team. Come on. She can't be serious. She can't be serious when she says these things to these poor girls who are on this team call. I hope that they hear that, and I hope they don't take that to heart because this is ridiculous.
Two is fear of, I think sometimes a lot of us, we fear, what if this is actually going to work? Like, what if this can actually be successful? See, some of us, and I can say this honestly, this past year for so many of us has been a season of nothing but disappointment and setback and failure. And it's like, we're just waiting for one more thing to drop. We're waiting for one more person to quit because life happened. We're waiting for one more, person who said that they were going to do it and they never did. We've been setback after setback after setback. And what if what if, like, you think of an arrow being pulled back? Like, there's no way. You've got to pull that arrow back. That requires a stretching. The further you pull it back, the more tension there is, the further that thing's going to fly when you let it go. The problem is many of us have been under that feeling of tension and setback so long that instead of just releasing it and letting it fly, we just put it down because we're tired.
Yeah, but how long do they have to hold this tension for until they can let go? Years? I don't think any of them want to hold on to that tension for years on the hope that it may work out.
Let me tell you, if you are listening to this right now, even if you've got a little bit left, that little bit's enough.
And of course you want to say that. You don't want anybody to ever leave. If they have any doubts, it's like, well, you're so close. That's the universe or God telling you to keep going. They're putting doubts because you're about to hit it big. Manipulation. If you are having second thoughts, if you just don't want to do this, that's okay. You have every single right to leave and go do something else. But they hold on to you. They almost hold you hostage in these MLMs, and it's scary.
That little bit is enough. And what if just by simply taking a different approach, changing the way that you invite people to your team, maybe changing the type of person that you are seeking to link arms and build this business with you, what if it's just a 1% shift that you have to make, right? So I want to challenge you between now and next week's call to really sit back and do some searching on, okay, what type of person do I want to build this business with? What characteristics do I want her or him to have, right? Because we can teach skill. We can teach skill all day long, but you can't teach someone how to be, right? And then go back, if it's been a while since you've written out your national championship dream team list, go back to that list. Or maybe you burn the list that you had because all those people are toxic now and you start over.
So it's those people that are toxic. It's not the MLM that's made you toxic. It's those people who don't want to join your MLM. Those are the toxic people. Got it.
Start over with a new list. But here's what I need all of us to do. And I'm telling you this because I need it. We need to stop telling ourselves that this is never going to work. That we are never going to be able to lead a team. That we're never going to be able to make an impact in someone else's life. And that I don't want to be a salesperson. Maybe this doesn't work because I can't even sell challenge packs. Start discipling. Start mentoring. That's literally all that this is. Okay? So here's what I will do. I will gladly share this worksheet. She said that she's got a worksheet as well from Summer to give you guys some options because different people work better with different things. So we will share that as well. Here's where I want to end it. We went a little bit over, but we had some Q&A, which is good. All right, next Wednesday, coach opportunity call. Get thinking about it. Start thinking about how you can talk about it, how you can share how this has been a gift for you, and then get those invites in. We want to see a lot of faces on here next week. Let's make this awesome. All right. Have a good night. Bye, ladies.
Bye, Beachbody lady. Oh, you guys. How is it that no matter how many of these I watch, I'm still blown away by the things that some of them say? And I guess it's like, we know that they put the blame on their downlines of why they're not successful, why they're not doing the things they're supposed to do, even though the things they're asking them to do, they are doing, they're just not doing it the way that they're supposed to, or they are doing it that way, but it's their fault because they use the word blue instead of purple, and that's why this whole thing is crumbling around them. Something dumb like that, And it's just ridiculous that they manipulate these poor people into thinking that it really is their fault, and that if they just, change their mindset, and maybe they're reaching out to the wrong people, or maybe they really are just saying the wrong thing. And that's just so sad, because we know that those people are trying, and they are so much more than what their uplines are telling them. They're not selfish. They don't have giant egos. It's not their fault. The MLM structure is literally just a poorly designed structure, only built for people at the top to be successful. That's why they have all these huge top coaches who have been in for years and years and years and years, who are always at the top. You rarely see it change, because the people at the top are the ones who stay successful. The MLM structure is built for that. It is built for the people at the bottom to be rotating all the time. And it's very hard to get people to stay, because a lot of people will see through the fake facade of the product. Like, yeah, you have a product, but clearly you're just a salesperson if you want to make money via the product. It's really about building a team. That's the great thing. I'm still blown away that she shared that story and saw absolutely nothing wrong with it. Alright, you guys, that's the end of this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you really, really liked it, please subscribe. Let's talk anything and everything Beachbody in the comments below. And until my next video, I will see you guys then. Bye!